All right, welcome. As a tabletop sportcast, and I am going to run Game 81 of my 1986 NFL Rumble. I'll probably do an episode later this week on the Rumble format overall, but here's where we stand. Game 81 is the first game where the Rumble could end, and it could end in this game. Chicago right now, it has a 4-0 record. New York is 2-2. 3 losses is what gets you eliminated from the Rumble. So New York is on the cusp of being eliminated. They need to win 3 straight games over Chicago to claim the championship. Otherwise, Chicago will be the winners. These were the top 2 teams coming in, the final 2 to enter the Rumble, and here they stand alone at the end. So New York will be the home team for all 3 games should we have to play them. They were the higher seed, Super Bowl champions. So they will get home field advantage for all these games. But Chicago only needs to win 1 of the next 3. So we're going to run through this game now, and Chicago will win the coin toss and get average field position to start. It's been a really good Rumble, and not surprising that these 2 teams are left at the end. I will say that Detroit was the team that lasted the longest through the Rumble. They finished with a 7-3 record, so they lasted 10 games before they got eliminated. And there were 2 teams that got eliminated with 0-3 records. I know Kansas City was one, and I believe Denver was the other. So both those teams got eliminated very quickly in the tournament. All right, New York gets the ball, and they're going to have a decent drive here. 6, so that's 4 ticks off the clock. 1-4-6. They do face a staunch defense. Chicago's defense has really been the difference maker so far. They have kept them in each game and made it very difficult for their opponents to score. And now they run off 5 ticks off the clock. An extensive drive. But New York's defense also pretty solid. And a 15 on the punts. Did they block it? They did not. So average field position for the Giants. Almost blocked that punt. And they will already take us into the second quarter. So usually when the drive goes between, I just put a little slash mark in here to signify that we are changing quarters. And they are going to throw an interception. And it's going to be great field position for Chicago as they get their first possession of the second quarter. And another long drive. Both teams doing a really good job of controlling the clock right now. And this time it's not a staunch defense, so it's a touchdown pass for Chicago as they take a lead. 7-0 Chicago. And here come the Giants now, trying to get even. Okay. But once again, hitting that staunch defense, they're going to be forced to punt. And that's going to be great field position again for Chicago. Semi-efficient, so we're in the final 5 minutes here. Oh, they're going to get a special result. Quarterback and head coach have some words following a quick 3 and out. Offense will punt, and they're only going to use 1 tick on the clock. The Giants will get average field position, and they also are efficient, so only going to use 1 tick on the clock themselves. And 1, 2, 3. They are going to fumble their second turnover of the half. Results in great field position for Chicago. Let's see what they can do here. They got 2 ticks on the clock, and they will use the 2. 2, 2. Home defense, yes, they're going to force them into a backed up punt. This will probably end the half. It does with great field position. The Giants. We will run it one more time just to see. But nope, that's going to use up the half. All right, so at halftime, Chicago up 7-0. And the Giants get the kickoff to start the second half. That's going to be 2 ticks off. 3, 3, 4. They're not solid. Nope, they're gonna have to punt again. Average field position for Chicago. 2 ticks. A little harder to move the ball right now in the second half. Are they reliable? No. No meek, shaky, or aggressive. It both knows they're going to punt. That's going to be great field position for the Giants. So they need to get something going fast here. 2 ticks off. 1, 2, 6. Reliable or meek, shaky, or aggressive. They are aggressive. It's going to be an interception. And great field position for Chicago. 3rd turnover for the Giants, so partly why they're struggling right here. 2 more ticks off the clock for Chicago. 2, 2, 3. Undisciplined defense, yes, they're going to get a field goal opportunity, but they missed it. Missed field goal. And the Giants take over an average field position. And 2 more ticks. Pretty steady drive so far. 2, 4, 5. Dynamic or soft, porous punt. They are going to put a coffin corner punt out there. 45. Probably enough to get, yep, just into the average range. And Chicago with a chance to run down the clock here on the 3rd quarter. They are solid punting to the corner. Coffin corner punt for Chicago. 14. Is it blocked? Yes, it's a blocked punt by the Giants. Let's see if they can pick it up and run with it. And no, they are going to get great field position on the blocked punt. So the Giants will start 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They will start the 4th quarter. In great field position, needing a touchdown to tie this game. And they are going to use 4 ticks on the clock. 4, 4, 6. Not poor. That is a touchdown pass for the Giants. And they have evened the score here, 7-7. Here comes Chicago. Average field position. 2 ticks off the clock for Chicago. 1, 4, 6 is a staunch defense. Yes, they got the dot. So it's a punt. And the Giants will get average field position. About halfway through the fourth quarter here. Only one tick off the clock. And that's an interception by the Giants, another turnover. Average field position for Chicago. And they are going to use 2 ticks. 2, 4, 5. Dynamic or soft? No. Not porous. They get to punt. So Chicago punting it away. We're in just 3 ticks left on the clock. Oh, and a 61 on a coffin corner punt is going to be average field position for the Giants. Game is tied, so the efficiency doesn't matter here. And they're going to use 4 ticks. They're going to use up the rest of the half, and we're going to go to overtime. End of half. Let's make this. So, get a tie score, going to overtime. Let's see who wins the coin toss. It's going to be the Giants. And they will get the kickoff. Average field position. See what they can do here. Oh no, another turnover by the Giants. 1, 3, 5. Rusher breaks through the line, but a clean hit knocks the ball loose. It's a fumble. What will Chicago do with it? They are going to get it in poor field position. But they've got possession. So that ended that. We are into overtime. And they use 2 ticks. 2, 4, 6. They're not dull. Touchdown run for Chicago. And they are the champions of the 1986 NFL Rumble. They finished with a perfect 5-0 record. So congrats to the Bears, who knock off the Super Bowl champions, the New York Giants. And that's how it ends. So it did end in the 81st game. Again, it was the minimum number of games. That's 27 teams getting at least 3 losses. Since we only played the 1 game, I'll just give you a quick rundown of how the Rumble works. So basically we start with the 2 worst teams in the league. And in my case, that was probably these 2 guys, right? So I would have started with Tampa Bay and Indianapolis. So let's say Indianapolis won the game. They would move to the top of the ladder. And then we would bring in the next team. And it would be like, let's see, probably Green Bay. So Green Bay would then face Tampa Bay. And if they won, they would move up the ladder. And they would take on Indianapolis. And then let's say Indianapolis won again. Green Bay would then take the next spot in the ladder. And I would bring in my next team. Now this would be St. Louis. St. Louis would take on Tampa Bay. And let's say they beat Tampa Bay. That would give Tampa Bay now 3 losses. They lost all 3 teams, so they would be eliminated. St. Louis would take on Green Bay. Let's say they won the game. Green Bay would drop with 2 losses now. And then St. Louis would take on Indianapolis and maybe move up. So 2 losses, 1 loss, no losses. And you would just keep rotating this through, like as you would go through. So San Diego comes in. Let's say they beat Green Bay. They knock them out. San Diego loses to Indianapolis. And now you got 1 loss, and no losses. Indianapolis would take on St. Louis. And let's say they won. And now all of a sudden you'd have 3 teams all with 1 loss. And you would just keep going through the ladder. And the number of active teams that are in the ladder would all be dependent on where you were introducing the next team and whether or not you got a team with 3 losses. So through process of elimination, I ended up with the 2 top teams. That's where we ended up. And New York lost to Chicago. They lost 1 game to Washington and then lost their 2nd game to Chicago, which gave them 3 losses, eliminating them from the Rumble. that's it. That's how a Rumble format works. It's really like a twist on the King of the Mountain, but I call it a Rumble because I basically designed it after like a Royal Rumble match, right? Where every so often somebody's entering the ring in a wrestling match. Well, this is every now and again a new team is coming in. So once you've played out the ladder with the most recent team, then you bring in the next team. And you keep going until everybody's eliminated except for the one team. For me, Chicago Bears. They are the champs. All right, that's it. So, hope you enjoyed it. Chicago comes away with a win in overtime. We'll finish the scoring here. 13-7 is the final. And they are champs. Thanks for watching.